Welcome back to Coriander Society Adventures. I, Tormented by Gnomes, your game master, joined once again by Beatdown, Boulevard, Ninja Matt, and Pods of War. When we last left our heroes, they were still scattered across the planet Ashen. We rejoin us now with John Carmichael, who is meeting with the Maritact Clarity in an ancient sand-buried pyramid, hoping to unearth information about a group of Maru spawn who may be able to assist them against wisdom. John, you stand face to face with Clarity. You can hear the various Maru Salt bodyguards. One of them is very close by. The others lurk off in the shadows. How would you like to proceed?
Now that Clarity has approached, John is going to speak. Yes, Clarity, you've joined us. Very good. I am here to introduce myself. I am newly arrived. Your progenitors have returned. I am the mouthpiece for A1. I don't know if we came up with cool names, but I'm going to give Gastone an applicable title that would make him very, very impressive sounding. Literally just ripping something out of the wiki. Like chief engineer or something along those lines. Some gaudy
the shaper,
title.
the breaker, and the speaker.
Exactly. There you go.
That's you, Asena. Oh, that's Gastone, Asena, and you respectively.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Most curious indeed for you to return unheralded after so long. You will forgive me, Great One, of course, for asking for some small sign of truth in this.
Well, unheralded, that's not quite accurate. We heralded ourselves plenty with your friend Vigilance.
Then Vigilance has not been vigilant in spreading this good news. The failure is, of course, on your humble servants, not on yourself.
That being said, your name rings true, Clarity, for you seek proof, and proof you shall have. And at this point, John is going to go big or go home. He pops out his dual disc, throws on his glasses, and boots up a program that he had already prepared for this occasion. He throws out the robot that lands in the space between the Maritact and himself, and you there. John kind of turns facing the Marsalts. Back up, would you, for your own good? And in the space between them, John boots up a program that displays itself before him, and it indicates it really is just like the rise and fall of when the Lacunians kind of imagine that epic RPG music where it has this cool in times past. The progenitors came to this land, and it's literally like a 10-minute presentation of the Lacunians coming from Lacunus, moving here into Ashen, and then slowly taking it over one bit at a time, crafting the Maru spawn, and there were the rise and fall of the Dragon Wars, and then a great calamity occurred, separating the progenitors from their Maru spawn followers, and you've been alone, besieged, lost, and now we have returned, and we bring with you gifts. We will be restarting your society and bringing forth how things were supposed to be. And an envoy of the speaker, the candlestick maker, and the tinker, sailor, soldier man are here to bring you from the sands of ruin and shape you into the crystalline pillars that you were once meant to be.
All right. Gastone's tech check that he made, plus your tech check to design this tool, those both absolutely go through. What skill will you apply to actually presenting your presentation?
Let's take a look here. What would be applicable to what I just did? I am going to... I don't know if oration is a particular skill, but my thought is, and this is me kind of pulling a fast one on you.
If you'll allow it,
you had given the Marassault's advantage on their intimidation check based off of their immunity to or their advantage against fear. I would like to take John's proficiency with linguistics and apply it here, because he's mostly trying to say a lot of big, impressive words and make a really nice PowerPoint, and he's just giving a presentation.
Okay, I'll allow that. How does that work mechanically?
My thought would be that I would use one of my intelligence-based skills. So for this instance, I would say like history.
History would absolutely apply here.
Perfect.
With disadvantage.
Very good. Understandable. Yeah, it'd be a 23 because we take those.
All right. Clarity is impressed, enthralled, and sold. But how is it that you have returned before the great work espoused by wisdom is completed?
Mate, real quick, where did that disadvantage come from?
Chat.
Because I see 2 for you. I don't see any for me.
Oh, yeah, I already cleared it.
Oh, okay.
Pain.
Understandable. Anyway, one more time. I'm sorry. I was trying to flex on you. What was the question again?
Yeah, get flexed on back, nerd. Of course. Yes, it's good. How is it that you have returned before the great work proclaimed by wisdom is complete?
The great work proclaimed by wisdom, who is of... We are appreciative that he was able to keep the Mars spawn intact in the way that he has, but we're going to be changing things up as time goes on. Currently, the Shaper is with one of your other faction leaders, and they are putting into motion the plans that we are bringing to fruition.
And how may I, your humble servant, take a key role in these plans?
I'm extremely glad that you've asked, Clarity. That being said, and he kind of unclicks the robot, brings it back to his forearm. This, as you likely can surmise, is a rather nice but unbefitting location for me to reveal such things. I would assume that you have a chamber with which you take audiences with gods, no?
We have precious few audiences with gods, but I would be more than happy to bring you below to the inner sanctum.
That sounds suitable. John snaps his fingers for his retainers.
Mm-hmm. Lonnie avoids rolling her eyes, and she can cast light, so she's going to cast light to make life a little easier. Boing. And Vigilance ushers you forth.
I'm sorry, who?
Clarity. Sorry, all these fancy names, they add up.
Absolutely.
All right. Through this door, deeper into the bowels of the pyramid. Down and down and down.
Did you want me to follow the Mars spawn, or are you teleporting us
go
somewhere?
ahead. I'll transport you for the time being.
Okay.
Whoop. The lot of you are all gathered into this room before. It's almost like an airlock. And you can tell that there used to be, long ago, there was an airlock in place in this system, but it is no longer functioning.
Oh.
You can also tell that the sarcophagi on both walls, they shift unnaturally as you draw close.
The what shifts unnaturally?
The sarcophagi, the stone things, what you put dead bodies in on both sides.
Yes, certainly. You said that John could tell this used to be at one point an airlock no longer is functioning, right?
Correct.
John makes an offhanded but biting remark about this spire of theirs being in disrepair and that they're looking forward to bringing things back up to snuff now that they've returned.
Roll an insight check for me, please.
Certainly.
Clarity is concealing, but eager, almost giddy at the prospect. Just delighted that you're here. Sees this as an advantage, a massive advantage over Well, everyone probably. And again, Clarity is very careful to constantly open and close. Oh, and I'm not going to move him around, but the Morrow Salts are following.
Okay, very good.
Very careful to open and close each door in turn. And as you approach the next area, a caution, Great One. We must move with great speed through the following chambers. I ask that you follow me with great swiftness and do not tarry or linger.
Does John get the sense that he should just go along with this, or would he? Would it be an imposition? Not an imposition. No, he'll just go along with it. It's fine.
Okay.
He nods and looks back to his group as he said, "Do not tarry."
Ben gives you a slow nod. Charlie's looking around because he's never been off-world before. A moment ago, he was in a beautiful elven kingdom. Now he's in this friggin' pyramid.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised we brought him, to be completely frank.
Roll a perception check, please.
I do this thing you ask of me. And perception 18.
The air here is not good. The air here is stale and bad. There's a fire burning in this brazier, but something tells you it would be burning regardless of whether or not they gave it fuel. Roll a science check for me, please.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. That was meant to be intelligence. I don't know why that didn't go, but let's just say instead of a +2, it would have been a +5. So 11.
11?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that fire, that is not, there's wood and like sticks thrown on it, but really there's some sort of a chemical reaction or
Is
other
it gas?
things. Yeah, it's not gas. It's more like one of those tire fires that's burning for just hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's sapping the oxygen out of this area. So the moment you enter, you can tell that the air here is stale. None of the Morrow Salts speak in this area as if they're sort of just hustling along to conserve oxygen. And they gesture for you to swiftly follow.
These sarcophagi, do they shift and move as the others did or no?
They do not. Clarity vanishes down the hallway.
Is this also part of the area that is worrisome?
Yes. In fact, you'd say that the airlocks may no longer be functional, but they're still doing a little bit of work. You probably won't be good until you go through another door. A door lies before you. Clarity ignores it, passes to the right, and to a large set of doors right over here.
Is this door ahead of us here? The sealed door?
That is a sealed door ahead of you.
Very good. Is it, what are we looking at? Like a stone door? Is there a keyhole or anything like that?
It's a stone door, does not seem to be locked.
Can John peek in?
Would you like to peek in? Yes.
When the Morrow Salt pulses, yes. John's going to have the rest of his party go ahead a bit, and he's going to linger and just peek in the door.
All right. Go ahead and peek. Within, 2 tombs and a carved dragon head. Carved from stone, the shape of a blue dragon upon the wall.
Perfect. John takes note and keeps moving.
All right. The door beyond, it opens and you can hear a faint hiss as it actually successfully goes through. And there's another set of doors immediately after it. Clarity bows and gestures for you to enter first.
John, it looks like this is not going to fit very many people. And just taking a quick look, either investigation or perception, whatever you think is best, John just takes a quick moment to make sure that there's no obvious traps in this room.
Roll an investigation check, please. Actually, there is the melted remains of a Marulurk against the wall. And
there is.
Yes, and Clarity will whisper a few words, again, as if to conserve oxygen, One at a time, Great One. Touch not the walls.
John nods and steps within. Oh, my vision is really messed up.
Yep.
Okay, John steps in and does not touch the walls. It says like a one at a time, one of us per in, or
Yes.
can... Okay, well then John goes in.
All right. The doors behind you seal, and you can almost hear ancient mechanisms. The air processing, sealing out, and the door beyond opens.
Oh, what is that? Oh, it's a Abishai. Very nice. Is that the one that I made a deal with?
Yes. You
very
find
nice.
Korgamaz standing inside the airlock as it shuts behind you.
Well, there we go.
What do you do?
Give me just a moment, please.
This seems like a perfect time for us to check in on
Yeah.
Asena and the Chronepsis Rift.
Please do.
While John checks his notes. Who the hell is this, and what's the terms of our deal again?
Yes, I know who he is.
What's
Do
going
not
on?
remember the terms of the deal with that.
Okay. Asena.
Yes.
Hara is satisfied. She has a long conversation with the dragon elders. And when they awaken the power of the amulet a little bit further, they also instill in you, if you have the soul of a dragon, you should speak their tongue. They infuse you with the knowledge of the language Draconic. You may add that to your character sheet as well.
Yes! That's exciting.
Yeah. But when all of that is done, Hara is basically good to go before another elemental storm rips through this rift. Whatever conversation she had with the elders, it's what she needed for her own spiritual peace. Zamkug and Nizar and Tenkobel are just sort of watching all of this go down as Tenkobel eyes the gigantic scads of wealth just littered amongst the ancient bones. When Hara's done, she'll say that she's ready to go back and reunite with the others. Is there any reason why Asena wouldn't want to do the same?
I don't know. Probably not, but like depends on the conversation. What's the feel right now?
Okay. Roll an insight check. And it's during this conversation that your understanding of the Draconic language sort of reawakens. 20. Wow. Okay. Hara is talking to the dragons and saying that she is both Hara and Acophysinian. They are one and the same. She is a dragon, but she wants to live amongst humans. She's made friends amongst them. Is that a thing that dragons do? And if so, do they have any advice on it? One of the things that they tell her is that this wandering lifestyle does not suit one of the Darastrix. You can never achieve your full power and your full birthright if you don't have a hoard, a proper cache of dragon treasure. Like, your true draconic awakening won't occur until you're sitting on a giant pile of treasure. So you can travel with these humans, but you need to set down roots somewhere. You need to establish yourself somewhere, and you need to start hoarding treasure if you ever want to be a real dragon. How you balance that with your human side, that's up to you, but one of these worlds, you got to set down roots. She talks with them about Lacunus and about the Ulhar, the dragons there who have learned all this technology and are trying to conquer humans or live at peace with them, and how she feels that, if she went there, she'd be in a unique position to broker peace, but also how she has these students back in Northport who she owes. She's their teacher. She's looking out for them. She's teaching these young Moonthrecht, learning how to use the magic that's washed over their world. The Brass Dragon thinks that she should stay in Northport. And, you've got a really nice house there. That sounds like a great place to build a horde. This put down roots. Yeah, keep talking, keep learning things, keep teaching these students. Just, get yourself a pile of treasure. And the Blue Dragon says, you should go to Lacunus. You would be uniquely important there. You'd have the perfect opportunity to be a go-between between dragons and the humans who live there. That would give you lots of opportunity and all that technology. You could easily amass a fortune and learn all this sophisticated stuff that would make you a power across any world that you travel to. The technology you've encountered, it's on par with the ancients who dwelt here 10,000 years ago. Either way, you're not a dragon if you don't have a pile of treasure. So get on it, lady.
I love that this is the conversation.
It's important dragon stuff.
At which point Asena will interrupt. Hara, even I technically have like a little treasure place over in Northport, so I kind of agree.
She glares at you.
One question before we go, if we don't mind. Oh God, what was it? What are the chances you think I'm super old and beyond death because I'm in the astral plane and time is weird there?
You are a piece spun off from something ageless and timeless and astral. You are partially correct, but woven into a new form, a smaller part of a larger tapestry, given your own life and your own sentience. You have only been in this form for the blink of a dragon's eye, but what you were woven from is more ancient than us.
Cool. And so the part where you said that, like, if I lose this amulet, I die, is that like Asena dies, or like old ancient piece of Dargan dies?
You, the person talking to us, the mind that resides and the spirit that reside within that body will be untethered from it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, good to know. Don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I guess we'll find out.
You must seek the one who wove you into this form, the one who anchored you through this fang. Whoever worked that magic will have more answers.
Gotcha. Well, I don't really know that, but I think I've got a couple of clues on how I can find out.
Does Asena have any other question for the ancient dragon guardians who are not even as ancient as her, whoever she came from?
I think she's good.
All right. Hara and Nizar and Zomkug and Tenkobel and Asena return to the ship, clearing the dangers of the Chronepsis rift that is slowly being corrupted by the flesh of Kur, held scarcely in bay by the ancient guardians. And it's time for them to decide what to do next. You know where you dropped off John, and you know where you left Gastone. And you haven't heard back from either of them, but the deadline hasn't passed. So you can go check in on either of them. Who do you think Asena would want to go check in on?
Probably John. Because Asena feels like she left him with the weaker party.
Okay.
And I mean, she doesn't think he's in trouble, but he also doesn't have magic anymore, so
I mean, we did leave our ship's wizard with him, Lonnie Laysimple.
yeah, but wasn't she like super scared of everything?
No, she's not scared. She just assumes that she's going to die horribly.
Is she okay with that?
She's not okay with that.
Oh. Well, I mean, I do wish I brought her instead of a dragon thief over here.
Ten Kobold gives you a stare. Roll an insight check, please.
Tenko will remember this.
He's thinking about fire. That's about as far as you've gotten.
Okay. I mean, everything was fine, but for a while there, like, I was kind of worried about Zomka could have got him killed. Just saying.
He shrugs. Hazard of the business. Merc work isn't for the soft. So off to Clarity's Pyramid then.
Yep.
All right. Pilgrim's Progress sails off in that general direction. Gastone, is there anything specific we need to check in on you for? Are you spending all your available time working on producing more stuff? Or there?
All of my time, I think, I just want to use for making the stuff helping the Mars spawn.
Okay. All right. Investigating into their genetic past. We will get into that. All right. Let us now rejoin John Carmichael in an airlock with a devil.
A dragon devil.
A dragon devil. Korgamaz, the Abishai, who you have not seen since Lacunus, when he and his minions, the Throden Kothar, ambushed you and your convoy. I think the party may remember this battle. While you were driving through the mountains, you were attacked by gigantic burrowing lightning lizards, and Korgamaz was their master. But John used a spell bullet to lock him in a magic circle, for though the rest of them were dragon spawn, Korgamaz is something else. A devil of the nine hells, spawned in the image of Tiamat, the dragon queen. The Throden Kothar of Lacunus are a group of Blue Dragon loyalists who are fiercely dedicated to Tiamat, the dragon queen, seeking to spread her will, her influence throughout this new plane. But Korgamaz was bound in that battle and forced to make a deal with John. If I recall correctly, the terms of the deal was that he would answer truthfully for you 3 questions upon being named or summoned.
Yes.
And in return, he could not harm you or your companions.
Correct.
All right.
I had very specific instructions of this deal written down, and I do not, for some reason, have them in any of my notes sections. Not on Roll20, not on my Google Docs, not in your Roll20. I have no idea where those very specific, because I had it worded in such a way to be very protective.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, John made a deal with a devil in order to spare its life. Originally, John was going to just send it back to the Nine Hells, but he spared it in order to get this exchange of eventual information, promised information.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And yet here he is.
Here he is.
In this airlock with all the air of someone who was waiting for you. Someone who expected to meet you here.
Yeah, fancy that. When John enters the airlock and sees the Abishai, oh, Gorgamaz. Fancy to see you here on the World of Ashen. Were you waiting long?
Not at all. Not at all.
John nods his head, and I'm a little busy at the moment, but did you need something?
At the moment, John, we have all the time in the world. Don't worry.
How can I help you?
It is not how you can help me, but how I can help you.
Oh.
You see, it is no small thing for a human to give up his magic to one of Tiamat's children. Such an act is fitting, an act of reverence, an act of great deference and respect, an act that has shockwaves felt throughout the plains. It is a heavy thing that you have done, John Carmichael. An awful sacrifice that you have made.
One could say, certainly. Honestly, I'm a little relieved, carrying the burden of power was giving me quite a ache in the shoulders. I'm actually quite pleased with the arrangement, I must say.
And yet surely you cannot think that those burdens will not fall upon you again.
Well, I know that it's a bit different for your kind to consider, but I've surrounded myself with friends and allies that I can call upon and are very willing to assist me with anything that may come up, whether it be mundane or world-ending.
A sign of wisdom. It is never good to be the strongest or the smartest in the room. Surround yourself with those who can be great aid and great allies. Again, a renowned mark. But you've made many enemies through the cosmos, John Carmichael.
Yes.
Do you think it just to strip yourself of power and then ask these others to protect you?
Well, I haven't had to ask yet.
But you will.
And,
Well, you will.
I think you're looking a little too far ahead, although it is among your kind, thinking several steps ahead. Look, not that I'm not happy to see you, but I have not summoned you, regardless of whether or not I have my magic. We still have a deal. You're still bound.
Our
and
deal
I have
remains fully intact. Far be it from me to disobey the Pact Primeval.
So why are you here, Gorgamaz?
Do you want your magic back?
Well, I mean, I did just make a big point about how I was relieved not to have it, but I must say, and he kind of looks down at his robes covered in sand and dust and kind of pats it out a bit. I do miss being able to bend the laws of reality at my whim. You've come to make a deal, then, I see. Another one.
I have come to make an offer, yes.
I'm listening.
Well, you're very familiar with how these things go, so please take no offense. That when one barters, one always starts high, and then works their way down to a place that is suitable for both.
Yes.
The full restoration of your power, greater even than it was before. At the small, trifling price of your mortal soul.
Wow, it's always that, isn't it?
As I said, I would be amiss were I not to begin there.
First and foremost, let me clarify something. It would have to come from somewhere. if you were to grant me my power and beyond, as you've said, if I were to accept such a deal, would you be removing it once more from Hara?
No. To strip the Darastrix, Tiamat's daughter, of this great gift? That would dishonor the sacrifice you made in the first place.
Was my point, yes. Okay. So where would this magic come from, then?
From the Dragon Queen herself. But you would be a wizard, John. What was given to a dragon can be restored by a dragon.
Well, your mistress is a dragon in name only at this point. Be she the mother of all dragons, she is a fiend first and foremost.
I would expect someone like you to have greater understanding. Not to be restricted by such simple binary thinking.
I'm not. It's just that, the whole soul thing is kind of a big deal. If an actual dragon were to make me some kind of deal, they'd probably send me on some errant quest to build up my allegiance to their cause, or some other such.
I wasn't looking to start there. But if the offer I've made doesn't sound acceptable...
It's not.
Ah,
But I'm interested. What else do you have?
perhaps... Let's pursue this line of thinking further. A great quest to prove your loyalty, to prove your worth, your dedication. More along the lines of the draconic magic you've investigated, perhaps less along my initial offer then. There are other forms of power there, in exchange for a quest. It would not restore what you had before. It would give you something new, something different. And it wouldn't even cost you your soul.
A far more tantalizing offer. What is this quest, Corgamaz?
Will you come with me? And I will show you.
Again, to clarify, I know that we're in an airlock at this moment, but where are we right now? Are my friends and the beings that they are surrounded, this pit of vipers that we found ourselves in, are they some kind of quasi-locked time thing, or what's...
Yes, all the time in the world, as dictated by the Pact Primeval. They won't notice a thing has transpired.
And this will cost me nothing, this boon of time.
Of course. It is merely while we negotiate.
Very good. Then yes, I'm more than willing to come.
All right. Corgamaz.
Corgamaz strikes his staff on the door, or on the floor, and the airlock beyond opens, but not to the depths of the Pyramid of Clarity, but onto a blasted wasteland strewn with fire. A great red sky burns over it. You can see huge winged flights of Abishai devils passing back and forth. On one side, you see a terrible tower. And on the other, a camp. Tents set up. A great war party of Abishai all arrayed before an enormous dragon skull emerging from the mountains. Corgamaz steps through the airlock and gestures for you to follow.
John does so.
All right. Corgamaz
Is
and
this Avernus, by the way?
Corgamaz and John Carmichael descend into Avernus.
Wow. I don't happen to see anyone else here. Maybe a party of 4 happen to make their way down here.
No, of course not. They're not here
No.
yet.
Okay, very good, very good.
Okay. Meanwhile, Let us check back in. Let us check back in with Asena and Gastone. Gastone, roll another science check for me, please.
That work? No, did it?
Let me see here. A 20. You have manufactured 2 more doses. 2 more doses of the antizymes. You can go ahead and select those.
I go for a 3 and 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was at like 2 and 1.
You were at 2 and 1. No, because with 2 more doses, you could go to 3 and 2. Yeah, it's either 3 and 2 or 2 and 3 because you only make 2 more doses.
You're right. I will do this then. Wow, I named these. All right, so I get to do.
right.
How much have I learned about these creatures?
All right. So by doing some analysis, you've come to the conclusion that their genetic code does contain a whole bunch of sorry, one sec. Their genetic code does contain a bunch of latent forms that have not yet been activated, that are all stored there, but they can only be activated by exposure to certain stimuli during like the vat growing process. They need different RNA receptors to be deployed into that and different energy receptacles at the exact same time. Those would require some manufacturing some biological materials that are going to be extremely difficult to procure, and some pretty advanced like essentially cloning equipment. You're not going to be cloning whole creatures, but you do need to what's the word I'm looking for? You won't be cloning whole creatures, but you will be gene editing.
So isn't this partially a thing that they do, or I guess they do more of the? It's just more of the whole Zyme system thing.
The Zyme system, again, that's almost like the same level of technology as cheese making. It's just very sophisticated cheese making because they're just they're just adding like different spit and organic material and stuff like that into these fermentation vats. Like it's the application of sophisticated ideas onto primitive technology is what they're doing with the Zymes. They're not doing gene editing. They just know that if you throw this type of goo into this vat, ferment it at this temperature for this long under these environmental circumstances, then you'll get this Zyme. And it's the Zymes are partially made with material harvested from like, okay, we need spit, we need this, we need that, we need this weird fungus that grows here, so on and so forth. So yeah, those Zymes activate latent. They are working on some of the same principles, but they haven't been applied to unleash those old forms yet.
So is
However,
there anywhere? Oh, okay.
You do know 2 things. One, there are areas in this chamber that you have not yet explored. There are areas of this facility that have been locked and unavailable to the Mara spawn.
Yeah.
2, you know that John went to go meet with a cell of Mara spawn who were specifically working on this in particular.
It's true.
Now, they lack your special technological advancements and knowledge. So it is possible that with their help or with access to their information, you might be able to kickstart their research.
Okay. So then what I want to do is now that I've made the antizymes, or well, I don't know, we'll call them that.
We'll call them antizymes. I like that.
Nice. So I guess what I want to do is I want to go to that transfer room, I think it was called, that I inadvertently unlocked due to shout out chat. And I guess I want to go see what's there first. And then at that point, I'll probably just leave. I'll probably lock the place, leave the facility for the moment, and find a way to meet with John.
Okay. As you are in the process of returning to that area, that is enough time for Asena to catch up with you. The Maru spawn are going to go upstairs, like they're on alert. They notice that these people are approaching, and they're going to go ahead and usher them back down because they're authorized to be here. And you are reunited with Hara, Zomkug, Nizar, Tenkobel Bizbus, and Asena. Asena, you are escorted back through the laboratories. Once you get, like, that upstairs area was very stone with little bits of plastic and metal. But once you go through the teleporter pad, you arrive in this underground laboratory that is ancient and decrepit, but originally very high tech. Gastone, you are welcome to meet with Asena. The two of you, if you have any business that you need to attend to, go for it.
Hara's also here, right?
Hara is also here.
Cool. Then yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to go catch up with them and just update them on everything that's been going on.
Okay.
At least here.
The lot of you are welcome to enter the transference labs together, should you so desire.
Yes, that is on my to-do list.
Okay. With a lot more help, Zomkug is going to take a brief break because he's kind of messed up at the moment. But the rest of the party is more than happy to travel together on this. So, I'll go ahead and... apologies, I am managing numerous things at the moment, as will be evident momentarily. All right, City of Spires, Vigilance's lab, open that up. Okay.
So I came here to visit John, and
I'm sorry,
his team.
I completely borked. You were going to go visit John. Ignore everything I just
where
said.
are they?
You don't have any help. You don't have any help whatsoever. I apologize.
I mean, we could be here. You've already set it up.
No. I don't want to deny your agency. That would be mean.
Wait, didn't you say that Gastone also wanted to see John? So couldn't they meet up there and then go see John?
No, we'll just do this.
Okay.
All right. Again, I don't want to. Just because I'm multitasking doesn't mean that you don't get to have agency in your own fate. All right.
Gastone had a brief vision of Asena.
Alternate reality.
Scene between realms.
All right. So this was the chamber where the stuff had collapsed. This is the chamber with the computer systems that are mostly wrecked. You have not yet passed into this chamber, but you are informed that the room of destruction lies beyond. And that apparently the machine god has granted you a permission, but not them, so go for it.
Oh.
Works for me.
Who do you want to lead the way? You've got Molly Lyklin, Domnica, Boguk, and Boignus.
We'll have my voice lead the way.
Yeah. Wait,
Excellent
what?
choice. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Boignus Kimsabin. It is an excellent choice. He has dark vision. He's going to tentatively step forward. Gives the all clear after a brief moment. However, when you get into this room, Gastone, you notice that your sensor, your electronic sensor device, is ticking. Roll a science check, please. You are detecting radiation in this room.
Oh.
If you had to guess, you'd say that you're fine for now, but you really shouldn't hang out here for too long. The door beyond is closed, but not sealed. At any point, feel free to interrupt me and tell me that you're doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Boignus will lead the way. Do you have a light source?
No.
Does Boguk have the light spell? He does not. Does Molly have the light spell? She does not. All right, Dominica's going to grumble something to herself and just light a torch. Do it the old-fashioned way. You do, however, have some sand and a sheet of lead for protection.
Ah.
Thank you to chat.
Mm-hmm.
Boignus halts you up ahead. He wants you to poke your head around the corner to see what he sees.
Well,
Okay. Oh, wow. It's just letting you go right through shit, huh? He's transcending realities. Stop him.
I'm in the wall now.
All right.
Was this intended?
No,
So
this
just-
is the intended progression, but it's fine because this is a wall of disintegration, a dangerous energy field. But the whole point of you getting permission from the, robot AI is that you're allowed to pass it. Roll a science check for me, though. Okay. 15. Yeah, that would absolutely inflict 4d10 force damage if you tried to walk through it. But the robot granted you access, so you may pass through and the door beyond opens. Do you still want Boignus going first? None of the Marosalts are following you, by the way.
Nice. No, I'll go first.
Okay. The chamber is illuminated by red lights. There's complex machinery on both sides. It looks like some sort of an airlock.
Okay. I'm gonna. Am I detecting radiation in here?
No, you are not.
Hmm.
However, you are detecting dimensional interference of some kind. It's like dimensionally isolated. And EMP secured as well, so it's hardened against an EMP.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to, I guess, this console on the left here.
Mm-hmm.
What do I see if I fiddle with it?
It's broken and fluctuating power. It's some sort of a touch screen interface, largely cracked. Roll an investigation check for me, please. A natural 1. You got some more spice from chat. You want to burn that?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and roll again.
Investigation.
A 2.
You know what? It's not a 1. I have plus 10. I'll take that.
Shunk.
Delete biofilter initialized. Scanning biological contents.
And you feel a faint humming as the room begins to scan you. What would you like to do?
I would like to find out anything I can about this machine in the next couple of seconds because I have a feeling I am not the one that's meant to be here. So I don't like the fact that it's scanning
Okay.
me.
Roll a Tinker's Tools check or investigation, please.
I'll go with Tinker's Tools.
And what did you get? 21. Okay, so by doing some investigation around the room, you notice that not only are there multiple scanning implements, but there's also some extremely focused energy field projectors. Probably the disintegrating kind.
Very cool. Is there a way I can halt this whole scanning thing?
Analysis. Subject 1. Human. Scanning.
How would you go about halting this? What would your basic idea for fixing an issue like this be?
Actually, if it's just spouting facts about us, I think I'll just let it go.
Okay.
Subject 2. Human. Subject 3. Unknown. Subject 4. Unknown. Subject 5. Human DNA detected. Partially unknown. Alert. Contamination located.
Shit.
Sterilizing chamber.
I would like to turn. I would like to go back to my previous efforts of shutting it off.
Okay. Now that your previous efforts now have significantly less time,
Yeah.
what would Gastone's basic plan be to shut this down?
God, what a good question. I think immediately that'd probably just be trying to locate the. I'm just gonna cut the power.
Okay. Basic going for cutting the power. Roll investigation to locate the power. All right. This is some pretty high-tech stuff, but with a 25, you think that you found the primary to one of the energy field projectors. And if you can just cut the power to that one, then you can create a pocket in the room where all of you can cram yourselves. Given that you don't have a whole lot of time, that may be your best option.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good.
Roll electrician's tools to cut the power. $17. All right. You barely manage in time to cut the power to one of the areas in the room. Everybody crams into that corner. And at that moment, everything else in the room takes 71 points of force damage.
Holy shit.
None of you are in that area.
That would have one-shot me and then some.
Decontamination complete. Proceed.
And the door beyond opens. But meanwhile, on Avernus, the first circle of hell, John Carmichael steps through the gateway into a nightmarish reality. John, you feel a burning heat on your face.
Oh my. Oh my.
One moment, please.
Oh, hello.
You feel a burning heat on your face.
Oof.
Rivers of blood, twisted, tortured ground below you. What will you do? Lights
One
of Abishai,
moment,
a
please.
richly appointed tent, and an enormous skull are all before you. Go ahead.
Wow, this looks cool as all get out. That's a lot of Abishais. That's a big old skull. John takes this all in. I mean, he's seen some pretty dark stuff. We just came from Taranot not too long ago. So yeah, this is pretty much on the same level of scary. So yeah. John looks to Gorgamaz.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose our deal has to be made here. We can't go somewhere a little, not so burny.
It must be here or nowhere, John.
Okay, very good. I take it I'm heading up to the rather lavish-looking tent, or should I just climb into the giant dragon skull?
There is no need to disturb the one who dwells in that tent. Our business is with the Dragon Queen herself.
Roll an insight check, please, John.
Oh, goody. Let me go to the different map.
I know. I'm sorry. I've got you split between 2 campaigns right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Inside over here. 25. Do I have disadvantage? I haven't checked in a while.
Let me check. Is this a role that has to do with negotiation? I'm gonna say no.
Don't think so.
Yeah. Also, something I want to point out that I can clearly identify to you because you're there. That's a motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a heavy metal motorcycle, but that is a motorcycle.
That's sick.
Anyways,
but
what was that?
We've already kind of said that Avernus kind of runs the gamut of where it can be and what it can interact with. So John's not entirely surprised. I mean,
okay, so with a 25 on insight, you can tell that Korgamaz is almost trying to pull a fast one. He definitely does not want you to go into that tent, and he does not want whoever's in that tent to come out and notice that this is going on.
Oh, okay. Well, then John absolutely wants to go into the tent then, making it as difficult for Korgamaz as possible.
Okay.
What am I looking at? By the way, I don't know you explained this horrible brimstone like turf, but is this passable terrain?
No, that's blood.
This is blood. Okay.
That's blood. Yeah, that's blood.
Okay, but this looks like at best a 5 to 7 foot jump.
You can wade through that blood for sure.
I could probably jump this. That doesn't look very far.
Yeah, you could jump that. That's fine.
Okay, John starts walking this way to make it look like he's heading towards the dragon skull.
Roll a deception check, please. Or performance, your choice.
Wait, didn't he just tell me to go to the dragon skull?
Yes, he did, but you're making it look like it, and then you're gonna drop the other shoe,
Well,
right?
Okay, so at this point, I am just walking towards the dragon skull, and then at the last moment, I'm gonna jump over. So.
All right, yeah, go ahead, roll it. I still want you to roll the deception check, but I'm not gonna.
I will totally. Yes. All right. First of all, deception. Second of all, athletics. So John just kind of puts his hand. Well, actually, he doesn't really have pockets. He puts his arms in his robes, folds his arms over, and does just the whistle. He goes, "Okay, wow, yeah, let's head over to that skull. Looks like oh, how am I going to get over there?" And as soon as he gets to the smallest point with the blood, he's going to just hop over and then just make a not run and hustle, but he's going to make a beeline to the tent.
Okay. As you move forward, the flocks of Abishai on all sides turn and snarl. Korgamaz holds out a hand, and from the tent, you hear thunk, thunk. The curtain parts.
Oh, hello. Oh, who's this friend? Oh, it's a Minotaur.
An enormous Minotaur wielding a massive brass falchion steps out.
Nice. Do I know anything about this being?
You do not, except that it's a Minotaur.
Okay.
You are completely unfamiliar with the lore of this creature's home world.
Can I make a lore check?
You can roll history.
Because John's a pretty, he's a studious fellow. History?
History, yes.
17.
17. This Minotaur is a bodyguard.
Based off of what it is wearing and carrying, the brass sword and the
No
regalia.
connection to where you're going.
I wasn't going to go there.
Okay.
I was wondering if I know of any connection here in Avernus.
Oh, yeah, it's a bodyguard for Tiamat's champion.
Tiamat's champion? Okay, do I know who Tiamat's champion is?
I don't know if you'd know, but he very shortly follows.
Ah. Oh,
Hey.
I think I know who that is. I mean, Matt knows who that is. I don't know if John knows who that is.
A dragonborn emerges from the tent. In one hand, he wields an enormous battle axe. His other hand is withered
Yep.
and dead,
Yes.
corrupted, and clearly dripping with evil power.
Oh, nice.
Korgamaz, what is this? I don't have time for this. Korgamaz I apologize, Archon. I did not mean to bring an interruption into your busy schedule. Is this another sacrifice? No.
I don't believe this one would suit your needs.
As Korgamaz looks at the hand, the undead hand grafted onto Arcan's, roll an Arcana check, please, John.
Yes, I do this thing you ask. Arcana it is. 28.
28. That is the hand of Vecna.
Yep. Did they say Archon? Did I hear Archon?
Yes,
I heard
you
Archon.
did.
This Archon, do they also have a weird looking eye, or is it just the
Nope.
hand?
Both the eyes look like half dragon eyes. Completely
Okay.
normal.
But definitely has the hand of Vecna grafted on.
Yes.
Very cool. Very incredibly dangerous. Wow. All right.
Mhm.
John instinctively, upon seeing the hand of Vecna on top of this
Mhm.
general of Tiamat, his hand instinctively reaches up and just kind of touches the talisman of the Infernal
Mhm.
for a moment that is tucked beneath his robes.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh, and now there's a bunch of light here, I would assume. John reaches up with his other hand and just turns off his headlamp.
His headlamp.
Just slowly, like,
Mhm.
Archon, I have brought this mortal here to pledge him to your same cause, and grant unto him the power of our queen, if only he will aid us.
And what can this mortal do that does not already lie within our power? Do you have anything to say for yourself, John?
I take a look over at these other Abishais, and I know that they're pretty tough, but like they're not like that tough, right?
A white Abishai, challenge rating 6, 68 hit points.
Okay. If John had disintegrate, he would pull his normal de facto, like, yeah, I'm just gonna blow something up to show how cool I am.
Mm-hmm.
He considers going for Krontaka, but
Mhm.
considering that he would probably bloody one of these things and not actually kill it with one
Mhm.
shot, I don't know if he quite goes there. John smirks, crossing his arms. Well, I'm a private investigator. I'm extremely good at snuffing out secrets and uncovering truths that any may or may not wish to share. I also used to be one of the foremost planeswalkers in, well, the entirety of the multiverse.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage because Chaz specifically was giving you disadvantage on rolls that have to do with negotiation.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Pain.
Nine.
Okay. You got anything in the tank for that?
Can I use something for that if I'm getting disadvantage?
Lucky, if you have any
Oh.
luck dice.
Can I use an inspiration to knock out the disadvantage?
Yeah, but that would
Then
give you the first result.
Then I'll do that and take the 22.
No. If you had that would have treated it as a flat roll, which means that you would get the 9.
Oh.
Well,
then
if you'd
that
asked
doesn't help me at all.
if you'd asked before we rolled, then I would have allowed it to go like it did. But if you have a lucky dice, you can spend a lucky dice here.
Interesting. Okay. I feel like we've not done that before, but all right. Yeah, no, I've got one, but I'm not going to use it.
Okay. No, I see what you're saying. Go ahead and give me a fresh roll. Burn the inspiration. Give me a fresh roll. I see what you're saying.
Copy that. And persuasion. A 20. Almost just as good.
Okay.
30-20. To clarify
This
the chat.
one has traveled throughout the cosmos to worlds that contain secrets you have not yet begun to plumb in your quest. I assure you, he would be a valuable asset.
Very well. One more mortal in service to my Dark Queen is none of my concern. When you're finished, Korgamaz, if he has anything useful to procure, I will be communing. and Archon and his bodyguard will retreat back to their tent.
Normally, this would be where John would like to make some kind of silly witticism, but considering he's a little bit low on the juice compared to normal, and he's in the literal belly of the beast, he's going to just hold off and let this Hand of Vecna wielding champion of Tiamat go back to their communion
John,
without harassment.
there are pacts that can be made without the cost of your soul. There will be a cost, but you can have the power of magic once again. You will accept service to Tiamat and help her in her quest to escape her prison of Avernus and return once more to the mortal world. You shall be her warlock, and the gifts of her magic shall be yours. All you need to do is help seek the knowledge and wealth that will free her.
Okay. And I assume we're going to go finalize such a deal in there.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's make our way to a more suitable place to speak.
What do you have in mind?
Well, not surrounded by devilish minions. I would assume that inside of that large dragon skull there is some form of lounge or meeting place.
It is not a lounge. It is not a place to be lurking about. But yes, let us proceed. We shall commune within.
I mean, I can just, lean upon a canine, whatever. Do dragons have canines? Is that how they... I know they're fangs, but I would assume they have similar identifications.
Enough. Let us proceed.
Certainly.
And the two of you walk through the sulfurous stench and into the enormous skull. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Asena is on her way to this very location where John can be found. She's gonna it's gonna be a little bit of time before she catches up, unfortunately. But she's riding along. Now, I do believe that Ten Kobold successfully got a couple of treasures and trinkets with him on his way out. So let's just, as a brief aside, why don't we have you roll to see what loot he stole from the Carnepsis Rift.
Okay.
Give me one moment.
I can't believe we got away with that.
Chat has spoken. Roll.
I put him in a chokehold for what?
Well, then he was left, he dropped that loot, but then there were a few minutes while you and Hara were talking with the Dragon Guardians, and he looted something. But it could be trash. It could be absolutely nothing. Go ahead and roll 1d100, please.
55.
55. It's jewelry. Roll again 1d100 to see what type of jewelry.
I mean, mate, is this in addition to that jeweled eye that was?
Yes.
Yes.
95.
Yes.
It's a scepter. So we're gonna roll once to see what it's made out of. Roll 1d100 for the material.
17.
It is ivory or horn. Roll 1d100 to see what sort of creature it's from.
17.
Now, how a scepter made of the ivory of a cachalot whale arrived on a desert planet is a mystery for the multiverse to decide. But, them's the breaks. Now, it's got a few embellishments. Roll 1d3 minus 1. It has no embellishments. It's just a scepter, and it's made out of whale bone. Maybe
Wow.
somebody brought it from Quelia. Actually, no. Quelia, the water planet, has no whales or dolphins or cetaceans or sea lions. It has no aquatic mammals of any kind whatsoever. So it's not from this world. It's from another universe.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
the treasure that he got.
somebody the Darkins ate.
Does Asena have anything to say about this successful looting or anything with the rest of the party along the way?
She's probably just gonna keep side-eyeing him.
Mm-hmm. He just keeps giving you this very, very blank. You've seen this look before on the faces of certain people who live in Aelberg. You know, there's the ones who are smart enough to leave you alone, and then there's the ones who are smart enough to leave you alone, but they're thinking about it. That's what's going over this gnome's eyes. He's not gonna mess with you, but he's thinking about fire.
Still thinking about fire.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he does not understand
Draconic?
Draconic.
Well, there's only one way for the dungeon master to find out, and that's by checking his character sheet. If he understands Draconic, he has not said so thus far.
Okay.
What do you have in mind?
Nothing. I was just he's thinking about fire without knowing I'm a bit fire resistant now.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. So,
But does he know that?
Which Asena's not gonna say nothing.
all right, roll 1d20 to roll for smug. 1d20 for smug.
Okay. 18.
All right, extreme smug levels detected.
Pretty good.
All right,
Pretty good at smug.
Gastone. As we check back in with you, you've narrowly avoided being destroyed by the Gleet biofilter,
Big fan.
and you are able to proceed to the next room or further investigate this room. What would you like to do?
I would like to further. No, this kind of seems like a. You know, get cleaned up, go to the next room. So we're gonna go to the next room.
All right. Another energy field awaits on the other side, but thanks to the act of God earlier in the night, you are able to successfully bypass it,
Nice.
Let's go.
leading into another chamber. This chamber is burned almost beyond any possible recognition ages ago by white-hot plasmatic flame. Pieces
Oh,
of
wow.
metal are melted in the slag. It's pretty bad, though. For some reason, the lights still work. There are 2 doors leading away from this room, and there's piles of molten slag. What would you like to do?
Meeny, miny. I'll go right.
Okay. There seems to be power here.
Holy shit!
This room has obviously suffered extensive damage. The back half of it is collapsed, metal, molten, all over the place. But a coruscating beam of electricity or some form of energy is passing back and forth between these 2 highly technologically sophisticated pods.
I want to walk up to this console. Actually, yeah, I want to walk up to this console first.
Okay.
What do I see? What am I looking at?
All right. It is. Roll a science check. This is high technology.
Like high elf technology?
No.
Really expensive technology? Or like
17. Okay. After a little bit of study, you realize that this is this is the transference chamber. This is designed to transfer highly complex energy patterns from one vessel to another. Possibly, you don't know if they ever succeeded, but the end goal was to transfer a mind from one body to another.
Oh.
And it is occupied.
Oh. By what?
something with an extremely high energy level, but it's being cycled back and forth right now. Roll an electrician's tools check for me, please. Okay. Whatever's in there, it is alive. And we'll find out more about what it might be next time on Coriander Society Adventures. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you for the act of God, and catch us next time.